Well, we'd like to welcome all of those who are joining us this morning from around the U.S. and Canada to our webinar entitled Sharing Your Belief with Others. Now, even though this webinar was designed primarily for those in the hair restoration industry or those operating as hair loss providers, as a final way for how they can generate revenue now and for their retirement under the Hair Restoration Center umbrella, for those of you who will share this webinar with others, they too can and will benefit simply by sharing what you believe. Well, let's first of all identify what is it that you'll be sharing, because I'm really excited about this concept. Well, the concept you'll be sharing, webinar attendees, is the health and wellness concept. Now, health and wellness is used simultaneously with each other, but they really mean something totally different. When we identify, first of all, what health means, the health industry, we might as well really call it by what it is. It's really the sickness industry. And why do we say so? Because when you develop a symptom, what do? You traditionally go to a doctor who will conventionally prescribe a drug for you to take for that symptom. You'll take that drug for a certain period of time until that symptom goes away. And when we really think about it, the more that we develop the attitude that most persons in the U.S. have, which is, I'll live my life the way that I want, but I'll let a doctor alleviate my issues when they happen. That attitude has made that industry a trillion-dollar industry, an industry that waits on poor lifestyle and unhealthy eating habits that will allow them to take advantage of us financially. Well, the wellness industry is totally different. Because in the wellness industry, a person forms a different opinion. A person forms the opinion that I'm morally sound. There's nothing really medically wrong with me. I just want more energy, or I want to feel a little stronger. So they'll take wellness products. And the more wellness products that they'll take, the better that they feel. Can't you see why this is totally a whole different concept than what America today finds themselves in, and that's a health crisis. Now being armed with that fact, let's look at what our mission is as natural health practitioners. What is our mission? Well, our mission is, other than the hair and the scalp, we don't diagnose, we don't prescribe, or we don't cure anyone. Who's that reserved for? That's reserved for the medical field that we just talked about. But as natural health practitioners, we believe that the body is self-healing, and if it doesn't, it is because it's deficient in a nutrient it needs or has a toxin getting in the way. We simply monitor the body as to how it's behaving and why it's behaving that way. And then we educate our clients with a resource of information. Wow, I've just said a mouthful. But let's go back and maybe dissect it a little bit more. When we really think about it, when we examine the human body was given a marvelous defense mechanism. That defense system is called the immune system. And when God created us, He knew when we became imperfect that there would be all kinds of pathogens and all type of microorganisms that could enter into the body. He put in us a device that would help us to be able to defend ourselves. It's like having a security guard inside of us protecting us because of the value of what our body is really worth. However, because of another trillion-dollar industry that has gotten wealthy because of our poor and unwholesome habits of eating and lifestyle, we now are becoming more and more nutritional deficient. Well, how do we define a nutrient? Well, from this point on, we'll define a nutrient inexclusively of being water, protein, carbohydrate, fats, a mineral, and a vitamin. Any exclusion of any one of those six will cause us to have what doctors call a disease, simply nothing more than a nutritional deficiency. And when we really think about it, 100 years ago, people didn't have these nutritional deficiencies. Why? Because they grew their own food, and they grew their own food in soils that had the nutrients in the soils. Today, however, we eat food that's been prepared by someone else or that's been processed and refined. And to add to it, because of the toxin air that we breathe or the polluted water that we drink and the nutritional deficient foods that we just talked about, we can start building up toxins in the body. And when toxins occupy the cells, even if we started on a good nutritional program, it will not benefit us unless we find a way to eliminate those toxins from the body. And we now even have the ability to monitor the body as far as how deficient or how toxic the body is, and now educate clients as to what they can do about it. With that concept in mind, welcome to the next trillion-dollar industry, the wellness industry. Well, what's driving that $12 trillion industry? Well, it's baby boomers like myself that's driving this trend. You see, baby boomers are no longer accepting the old theories that we're just getting older. And because we're getting older, we're supposed to be weaker. We're supposed to not have the energy that we used to have. We're not supposed to look as young as we did maybe 10, 20, or 30 years ago. They're not accepting those theories. In fact, they want to feel stronger, they want to look younger, and they want to live longer. And they're willing to go to any limit or pay any cost to achieve that goal, says Paul Zane Filzer, an American economist. Yes, now that we're armed with those facts, welcome to the next trillion-dollar industry, the natural health and wellness approach. Now, I want you to follow along. We're going to do some reading, but this is just only to help us to be able to understand primarily what our mission really is. A certified natural health professional specializes in wellness. That is to say, teaching clients how applying natural lifestyle approaches can act to facilitate the body's healing and health building potential. The CNHP does not undertake to diagnose or treat diseases. You see, we don't want to do that. That's what doctors do. But we recognize that the majority of sub-health conditions are cumulative effects. Also, the underlying cause of disease, improper diet, unhealthy habits, and environmental factors that cause biological imbalances, leading to a weakening of the body's defenses and subsequent breakdown in health. You see, our body tells us when there is a problem, and when we can either respond to this message or we can try to suppress the symptoms. Before the symptoms manifest and long before a diagnosis can be rendered, these destructive aspects of our lifestyles can be identified and corrected. A CNHP concentrates on identifying destructive aspects in lifestyle that leads to imbalances. Now, in treating hair loss, why should we take nutritional supplements? Because again, conventionally, in the hair loss industry, most people think treating hair loss from the outside is the solution. Well, as trichologists, we have an array of equipment, tools, and topical products to service our hair loss clients with, allowing us to take a multi-therapy approach. We must, however, not take the same approach conventional medicine takes. That is, treating the client like they're one big head rolling into our office. Instead, they are a whole person, or we can think of them as body systems, coming in with hair loss issues, and we must use nutritional supplements to nourish and cleanse the body so that the hair has a fighting chance. You know, it's almost as if all of the body members are sitting around a boardroom meeting, and they're trying to make the determination which one is the most important. So the heart starts off, and he stands up, and he makes his claim, you know, if I quit beating, we all go. All of a sudden, the lung stands up, and the lung says, heart, you propose a very important thought. However, if I quit breathing, we all go. Now the liver takes its stand, and it says, wait a minute, guys, you've got it twisted. Everything has to come through me. I decide what's toxin and non-toxic before it starts its journey throughout the blood, through all of the other different systems and cells and tissues within the body. So if I quit processing the food, we all go. Well, now the small intestine stands up, and the small intestine says, do you know none of you get fed unless I decide and break the foods down properly so that the substance that the body really wants, like proteins being broken down to amino acids or carbohydrates being transformed to sugars, or fats being broken down into essential fatty acids, if you didn't get those vital nutrients, we all would go. Well, now it comes time for the hair. And the hair slowly gets up, and all of the organs have their arms fold, and they say, hair, you tell us primarily what health benefit you give to the body. Well, the hair says, vanity-wise, I make you look good. They said, hair, did you understand? We want a health benefit that you give. The hair says, well, I keep the head warm. Everybody responds, yes, but that doesn't keep people alive. The hair says, I get it. I'm really low man on the totem pole here. Well, I gave that illustration to drive home the point that just taking hair vitamins will not do the trick, as the organs will always take nutrients first when they're introduced into the body and when we intended them to be for the hair. Why then should we choose Nature's Sunshine as your source to use? Well, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of companies out there that we can choose from. The reason why I chose Nature's Sunshine over 20 years ago is because I studied the body systems and know how the body functions. Nature's Sunshine was the only company that I saw that took a body system approach. You see, the body is made up of 10 systems or organs. Each system of the body requires minerals, vitamins, essential fatty acids, antioxidants, and so forth. However, most companies will have you think one product, such as noni, acacia berry, aloe vera juice, etc., will nourish all of these systems if taken. Well, that's almost laughable because that's equivalent to saying a car only needs oil and no other fluid. Nature's Sunshine is the only nutritional supplement company that addresses the needs to nourish and cleanse, listen to this, all of the body systems. Now, Nature's Sunshine has made a commitment to you, and when I studied what that commitment was, I wanted you to understand what their commitment will be to you. Over the past 42 years, we've built a lot about helping people reach their goals. Building and maintaining a successful business will always be challenging, but we'll always be here to support you every step of the way. We'll provide you with the training, the motivation, and the inspiration you'll need to make it easier to earn. Our innovative website gives you full access to product webinars, online training videos, social media marketing tools, plus ongoing support from top producers in our mentoring program. Wow, that's like having a big brother. This is a big decision, a potentially life-altering decision. Make it wisely and begin your personal journey to success with Nature's Sunshine. Now, this is very impressive. A Nature's Sunshine membership gives you wholesale access, listen to this, to over 600 plus highly quality supplements for your consultation business. Doctors feel as secure as they do because the whole 12 years that they've gone to medical school, the only thing that's been indoctrinated in them is drug therapy. So no wonder they feel confident that regardless of whatever symptom you bring into them, there's an answer in the drug in which they will prescribe. Well, Nature's Sunshine takes the same approach. They have 600 plus highly quality supplements. The difference is they're natural and not a toxin drug like we see in the health industry. As a health and wellness consultant, your desire is to share only the best products available with your clients. And because they look to you for solutions to some of their life's problems, whether it's assistance with weight loss, energy gain, or improvement with their circulatory, digestive, or cardiovascular, immune, or nervous system, your clients and you can trust that what's listed on a Nature's Sunshine label is indeed what is inside the bottle. And what's inside the bottle is created using only the strictest standards in purity and quality. We've been creating efficacious products since 1972. So we have an extensive line of supplements and blends to choose from, all available to you at wholesale prices with a membership. But we're here to not only help you and your clients achieve optimum well-being, it is also our goal to assist you with the training and tools you'll need to feel confident about answering their questions regarding our products while empowering you to build your practice. Webinar attendees, I challenge you to find another nutritional wellness company that has made that kind of commitment to you. Now, Nature's Sunshine also feels it's okay to be rewarded for sharing your belief with others. An interesting fact that I learned about 25 years ago is that doctors get about a 20% kickback on all of the pharmaceutical drugs that they prescribe to their patients. Now, though they will widely deny that, some doctors have admitted they can actually live on just these kickbacks alone. Now, I know you didn't hear me, so I'll repeat that again. Some doctors secretly have said the kickbacks are so enormous that they can literally live off just the kickbacks without touching the revenue that is generated by the services that they provide in behalf of their clients. Well, Nature's Sunshine realizes your hard work. So recognizing you for your hard work is something we take very seriously. And we want you to feel appreciated for what you do. Some of the great benefits include our classic compensation plan. Now, don't get hung up on just that name. That's just a compensation plan. It's just been designed primarily for health practitioners. You see, purchase products at wholesale prices will allow a health practitioner to sell these nutritional supplements in their place of business at a 33% off of what they sell retail-wise. They'll also receive rebates anywhere between 10 to 30% on product purchases with minimum orders. They save with frequent buyers program at 9 and get 3 specials. They earn up to 30% in sponsoring bonuses when they sponsor others into the business. Of course, that's optional. They make 12% commission on purchases made by those who they sponsor and people that they sponsor. Kind of what we might say multi-level marketing. Now, I'm going to be honest with you at this particular point. I never did like multi-level marketing. And here's the reason why. The first company, which I won't call by name, it was an essential oil company. And I was selling literally thousands of dollars worth of essential oils every month and never received one dime of commission. So after about 3 or 4 months, after I calculated that I had probably spent about helped gross about $12,000 to $13,000 for the company, I called them up and I said, guys, I've never even received 1 penny for all the hard I've spent in recommending the essential oils. I said, why is that? Is it something that I missed as far as your compensation is concerned? Because, you know, most companies compensate you for these type of sales. All the representative that was on the other end of the phone said to me is, Mr. Barnett, in order for you to receive any compensation, you have to spend $40 with us every month. I literally dropped the phone. I said, wait a minute, let me make sure that I understand what you're saying. Every month, I average about $3,000 to $4,000 a month, and yet you're saying I have to spend at least $40 myself before I can ever receive 1 thin dime worth of compensation? She said, yes, that's the way we operate it. I said, I tell you what, you don't have to worry about me ever recommending any more essential. I literally was upset. So when I was introduced to Nature's Sunshine, okay, and was shared all the wonderful benefits that Nature's Sunshine could offer me and my family, once again, I was offered the opportunity to use Nature's Sunshine as a means to be compensated for the hard work that I would spend in sharing my belief with others, since I primarily was in the hair restoration industry and was seeing anywhere between 20 to 25 clients every month via my consultations that I conducted with them. So the person who introduced it to me thought it was an excellent way in my consultations to share what I believed. If they were benefiting me, why wouldn't you share that with others? And I fell for it hook, line, and sinker until one hitch. And that was I had to spend $100 a month myself before I would ever receive 1 dime. Well, you know what I said at that point. Here we go again. I'm not getting involved in that concept again. But unlike the other company, again, who I will not reveal the name, the Nature's Sunshine representative pointed out to me, Mr. Barnett, it's not us. It's the government that sets a limit as to how much an individual has to spend if they're going to make money off of others. I said, okay, explain the concept. They says, the government says anytime you make money because you introduce a concept that people have to spend money for and you're not spending 1 dime yourself, the government calls that a pyramid industry. On the other hand, most companies don't want to be deemed a pyramid, because people understand that if I don't really believe in it, okay, how can you in turn around and suggest it to someone else? That's what a pyramid really is. I don't necessarily believe it, but I'm going to convince you that it's the greatest thing since a slice of bread. On the other hand, multi-level marketing is just the opposite. Multi-level marketing says if you believe in a concept so strongly, then you should be putting your money into it also. Either you should be using the product or also be utilizing the service. And the government sets a limit as to how much money a person has to spend in that company before they primarily can receive compensation. Well, it was at that point, if only the first company would have explained it to me that way, I probably would be selling their essential oils today. It made sense. If I believed in something, why wouldn't I share it with others? If I believed something worked, why wouldn't I be taking it myself before I ever convinced anyone else in order to be able to do it? I needed no more convincing. I just don't use the word multi-level marketing. Still kind of a nasty word to me. Well, let's continue on with the benefits. You make 12% commission on purchases made by those you sponsor and people that they sponsor up to 6 levels. You qualify for a $1,000 a month car payment. Now, both vehicles that my wife and I drive are totally paid off, and I said I would never, ever make another car payment. If I wasn't in the position to just write a check for the whole amount of whatever the car costs, Rodney Barnett would never have another car payment. Well, when I was able to see that here was an opportunity again for me to drive new cars again at someone else's expense, well, that changed my whole way of thinking about driving new cars again. You can qualify for up to $1,000, and later on I'll explain that concept. For those who've never had the opportunity of traveling around the world or going to exotic places, that's another bonus for being a part of the compensation program that Nature's Sunshine offers their health practitioners. You qualify for trips like to places like Europe or China or other exotic places via cruises or via airlines, depending on what's set aside at that particular year. And you'll learn more about all the other ways that you can earn with the classic compensation plan. Again, a plan designed primarily for health practitioners. Now, I took the concept and made it very simple because, remember, I said I don't like the word multi-level marketing, okay? What I do like are the words sharing what it is that I believe. So what was I sharing with my clients in my consultations in my hair restoration center? The approach was called nourishing and cleansing. Because I recognized that we cannot get all of our nutrients anymore from the foods that we eat because of the way foods are processed, because the way foods are refined, and because we primarily eat fast foods now instead of foods that we used to grow 100 years ago, I have to help my clients understand it's important to supplement their diet. We can no longer accept what doctors say, that you can get all of your vitamins, all of your minerals, in fact, all of your nutrition simply by eating a balanced meal. That's no such animal exists anymore today. And because we stated earlier, because of the polluted air that we breathe, especially if we live in major cities like New York, Chicago, LA, you get the idea, or because we eat toxic foods every single day. There are people who eat fast foods every single day. They get up and they go to McDonald's in the morning, they eat at Pizza Inn for lunch, and they stop by and get a bucket of chicken at you-know-where and bring it home, and that's their dinner. And this has become their lifestyle. So they're becoming more and more nutritional deficient. Well, a product called Super Trio is designed to give the person that missing nutrient that we inexclusively said persons have to get, which includes vitamins and minerals, along with the proteins, the carbohydrates, and the fats and the water that makes up a whole food. Super Trio was designed to give persons that missing nutrition that we are not getting in our foods. Now, for the toxicity that's built up in the body, regardless of whether it's in our large intestines, in our urinary tracts, whether it's in our liver, whether it's in our lungs, or even our skin, those are considered the toxin organs. Those organs have to be cleansed on a regular basis, just like every day we have to take the trash out if we are at home every single day. Clean Start is the tool that I use in order to get cleansed the body, the toxins that are building up in those particular organs. It's a great mechanism for cleansing those toxin organs. And then finally, once I set my clients up on a nourishing and cleansing mini program, every 3 months I am checking and monitoring the body to see what the weakest system is in the body. Remember, we said the body is made up of 10 systems. And if those systems are nutritional deficient, and we that are in the hair loss industry and want the client to either maintain the hair that they have on their head or try to restore the hair that they have lost, we've got to make sure that the body systems aren't robbing from the hair. The body systems were designed to make sure that that doesn't happen. So what's the approach? A cleanse, nutrition, and supplementing the body system, which is the weakest system at the time we monitor it. This is an approach that I've used for over 20 years. You know, when you think about it, trying to determine what body system, such as the digestive or the immune or the glandular system, which is deficient and requires extra nutrients, can be a difficult task and requires skill on the part of the health practitioner. You see, when you walk into, say, for instance, a vitamin store like GNC or some of the other type of vitamin stores, you see nothing but counters and counters of nutritional supplements. But how do you, the individual, know which one that you should take? It's the same in the beauty industry. When you walk into a place like Sally's or other beauty supply stores, there are shelves and shelves of shampoos and conditioners. What shampoo and conditioner benefits you? Well, what if you had tools that could help you with that assessment? Well, fortunately, there are. The Health Analyzer and the Compass Scanner are two tools that have been effective for me. Well, let's see how each tool works. Let's first examine the Health Analyzer. The Health Analyzer is the first tool that I ever used, which is very simple to use. It's just a questionnaire of about 25 questions to determine a person's diet, their lifestyle, and what their nutritional intake is. And depending on how they answer those questions, they will get a specific number in each one of their body systems. Those numbers are then transferred over to a sheet to be able to determine how well each one of those systems are doing. For instance, if a person scored, say for instance, a 2 in the digestive system, we can see that they're doing real good in that particular system. But yet, if they score 10 in their nervous system, well, we can see that that system requires what? It requires lifestyle, food choices, and nutritional changes are recommended in order to take that person from the fair category to either the good or the very good category. It's a very, very simple approach to help the client understand what the weakest system is that's inside the body. Now, You want a little bit more sophistication than that? That's where the Compass scanner comes into play. You know, I remember when I first used the Compass scanner after I purchased it, and I was at a show in Birmingham, and I never will forget the first little young lady that sat down at my exhibit booth, and we had it right there on the table, and we were charging $25 for persons to sit down. In 5 minutes. You would get a report, and it would tell you whether you were nutritional deficient or how much toxicity was building up within inside the body. And she was my very first scan that I ever did. And the scan only takes 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, boy, crocodile tears was rolling down her eyes. And I asked her, I said, honey, what's wrong? I thought maybe the device maybe shocked her or she had some kind of reaction to it. And I said, oh, my God, it's the first time I've ever used it. And I'm already having problems. And she said, Mr. Barnett, it's not you. She says, I just can't believe, looking at the results on the report, how accurate that they are. I said, how so? She reached down into this long bag that she had that she was carrying around at the show, and she pulled out, I remember this report that was probably as long as my height, and I'm 6'4". And she said, so that you don't have to read all of this, she says, the report says that I have a thyroid disorder. Okay, she was hyperthyroidism, meaning that her thyroid is actually operating too slow. And she said it took me 3 weeks and $1,300 to get this report back. And then we both looked at the report, and guess what? Though the report didn't say that she had a thyroid disorder, it did say that she had a deficiency in her glandular system, which is where the thyroid is located. She couldn't believe for $25 and 5 minutes, we were helping her to identify what took 3 weeks and $1,300 of her hard-earned money to say exactly the same thing. I've always alluded in my 25 years of being in the business that the Compass scanner is probably one of the most revolutionized tools that I've ever used in my practice. In fact, I became so comfortable with it that I limit my working on the client personally to only 1 day out of the week, so that the other 4 days out of the week I could spend time in consultation, being able to help clients understand what they were nutritional deficient in and what they had in excess of. Now, watching this video will help you understand how the Compass works.
Welcome to the Compass, revolutionizing the way you make decisions about nutritional products. The Compass is designed to pass information directly between the computer and your body. It's called a biosurvey. The Compass sends stimuli to your body in the form of computer signatures that represent different bioenergetic markers and nutritional supplements. Your body responds to these stimuli, and your responses are measured and recorded. In other words, the Compass asks your body questions and records your answers. During a biosurvey, the Compass interfaces with the most rapidly changing field in your body, the energetic field, which processes over 400 million impulses of information per second. Each biosurvey affects and changes this energy field. Because of this, rapidly repeating biosurveys will show differing results. However, this also means that the first survey is the most accurate. A recent hospital study found a 93% correlation between biosurvey results and prescriptive choices made by doctors for their study patients. The Compass gives you that advantage, reliable information so you can make better choices about your health. Currently, the Compass is measuring your body's responses to the signatures of nutritional products as well as 76 bioenergetic markers. These markers are related to vital body parts and functions, such as circulation, digestion, energy, and metabolic processes. On your Compass report, you'll see a baseline circle with dots representing your responses to these markers. Red dots outside the circle indicate negative responses and are referred to as out of range. Your body's product preferences are determined when out-of-range markers come into range, shown when red dots move inside the circle and turn green. With this information, you're ready to use the nutritional supplements your body prefers. Continue taking these supplements long enough for your body to receive their full benefit. At that time, you'll find it helpful to get another Compass assessment and adjust your nutritional program accordingly. Between assessments, pay attention to your body. Do you feel healthier? Do you have more energy? Proper nutritional supplementation can result in these and other health benefits. Keep your health on course with a regular Compass assessment.
Well, I hope I timed it properly so that the video is through playing. I can't see it playing on my end. Unfortunately, this concept of the webinar will not allow me to play the video on my end. So we'll just anticipate that the video is through running, and we'll continue on at this particular point. Let me tell you a little technology about how the Compass works. The Compass uses the same technology as what's used as a lie detector's test. Unlike with the Health Analyzer, which is only as effective as how honest the client is when asked those 25 questions, the Compass does it differently. It's asking those same questions, but it's doing it via how the lie detector works. It's acting on your impulses. And as you saw in the video, can you imagine 400 million impulses every minute? It's amazing. I'm still mystified behind how the Compass works. A very, very important tool to determine how the body is behaving and why it's behaving that way as we help you to appreciate in our mission. So webinars attendees, what's our mission? Our mission and our ultimate goal is to help the client understand the nourishing and cleansing concept of the body. Because think about it. If we properly gave the body what it needed, all the nutrients, all the water, all the protein, all the carbohydrates, all the fats, all the minerals, all the vitamins that the body needs, and then we effectively help the client understand every 3 months to get toxins out of the toxin organs. Think about what that would eliminate. That would eliminate all the sniffles. That would eliminate all such things as handkerchiefs and tissues. That would eliminate over-the-counter drugs. That would eliminate trips to the doctor. That would eliminate doctors then recommending that we go to hospitals. That would eliminate doctors having to whittle out part of our anatomy. And eventually, it could eliminate premature death. It's your choice. At various shows that I present my presentations at around the U.S., I always take with me a CD collection called The Untold Truth. Now, those of you who have attended my presentation by now have really benefited by listening to these CDs. Why? Because these are untold truths that you will never get from your doctor. Case in point. Think of the last time you developed a symptom and you went to your doctor looking for a solution. Did the doctor spend a couple hours with you trying to eliminate or trying to determine what the nutritional deficiency was that you had? Or did he just give you the quick fix? Well, you know the answer to that. I don't have to answer that question. These untold truths teach you guiding principles to help you understand things like why colon cancer is the #2 leading cause of cancer, why heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, Why diabetes is one of the fastest growing diseases in the United States. Why when women are past their childbearing years, why the first supplement or drug, I should say, that doctors ever prescribe to females is estrogen, and why all females don't need estrogen when they're going through menopause. Other aspects of what are all of the nutrients that the body needs in addition to those 6 that I made mention, such as fiber or antioxidants or probiotics. Okay. And finally, why we as a nation are just so stressed out. These untold truths are truths you will never, ever hear in your doctor's office. If you haven't purchased these yet, you can still contact us and we will rush them out to you. Now, finally, when we're sharing our belief with others, we have to understand it's okay to be rewarded financially for doing so. We discussed earlier the compensation that doctors get from pharmaceutical companies for sharing what they've been indoctrinated with over the 12 years that they were in medical school and now in their private practice. Well, guess what? Nature Sunshine believes that you should be compensated also. I found it an excellent way to be able to plan for your retirement. You know, when you look at these photos here that are on this slide, isn't this what retirement is all about? The cares of the world are now set aside, and we're now able to enjoy what a lot of people call those golden years, when we don't have to worry about mortgage payments anymore, car payments anymore. We don't have to worry about Visa, MasterCard, our children's tuition. See, all of those things are behind us now. It's time for us to enjoy our golden years with our significant others. Now, whether you're like me that likes more of the water scene, or whether you're a person that likes more of the mountains or other type of scenic environments, the most important thing is to be able to enjoy it. But guess what? We'll never enjoy any of what we see in these pictures if we haven't planned for our retirement. People who are self-employed make a lot of money during their earning potential years. The problem is, what have they done for the years when they're not producing? You see, one factor that they fail to realize that there's only 2 ways to make money for your retirement. The first way is called money at work. Now, I know a lot about this because when I first graduated from school, one of my first career opportunities was with an insurance company called New York Life. And we used to sell what was called a retirement program, and one of the ways we used to do it is we help people understand the illustration of the hill of life. Now, what is the hill of life? The hill of life is the concept of during our income-producing years, and we're climbing this hill, as the old person says, they're climbing the ladder, towards success, okay, whatever, Fortune 500 company or industry that we're in. The goal was to send dollars ahead on the other side of that hill so that when we reach those golden years that we just saw in that last slide, we would have money sitting there waiting for us. And that money, while it was waiting for us, was making money for us. That's called money at work. Now, we see that primarily with industries that people who work for receive that kind of compensation in things like pensions or 401ks or other type of retirement match. You put in $1, we'll put in $1, you put in $1, and we'll put in $2. That's called money at work. I think Henry Ford said it best, that any business that only manufactures money produces a poor product. Now, I have a lot of respect for Henry Ford, but it really took me a while to really be able to understand that statement. Money is a poor product? I mean, money is the commodity that we use in order to buy goods and services. How could it really be that big? But see, I missed the point. What he was saying is money can only benefit yourself. If you only primarily had money at work, it benefits you, but you're the only person that it benefits. Whereas on the other hand, the other way that you make money is people at work. What do you see happening here? People aren't just benefiting themselves, they're benefiting others by either the service that they perform or the product in which they sell. Yes, the second way is people at work. But nobody ever thinks about the third way. And the third way is kind of a hidden secret. And that is, what if you can make money while you're asleep for your retirement and right now? Whether you're male or whether you're female. Wouldn't that be nice to have a concept like that? That you're not concerned about money being made at work or people at work. Because at some point in our lives, we're not going to have the energy and the health to continuously still work. So it's nice at the age that we are now if we could be making money while we're sleeping. Well, guess what? You can. The wellness industry offers you that opportunity. Why? Because when we really think about nutritional supplements, you know, it's unlike other things that are material, such as a computer or a car. You know, when you buy a computer, a brand new computer, you don't want another one right away. So it kind of has its cutoff at that particular point. If you go out and buy a brand new car, regardless of whatever your dream car might be, you don't want another car immediately right at that particular point. But the wellness industry is different. When you take a wellness product and you see the benefit, whether it gave you more energy, you felt stronger, it changed your appearance, you want more of that product, and you want to continuously consume more of that product in order to receive the benefits that it gives. And that's the beauty of money consistently being made. Unlike drugs that you only take for a short period of time, nutritional supplements are foods, and like food, must be consumed for the rest of your life. You know, I had a client ask me the other day, he said, Rodney, how long must I take these nutritional supplements? I said, I can answer that real easily. When your need for oxygen ceases. Of course, we both got a big laugh out of that. But we have to understand when we're sharing our belief with persons that they understand nutritional supplements are just what it says. It supplements the nutrition we're not getting in our foods. And just like you have to eat every day for the rest of your life if you want to stay on this earth, you have to supplement every day for the rest of your life while you're on the face of this earth. And when you think about the cost effectiveness of it, roughly about $105 without adding on a body system, that's far less cheaper than what we see that's being paid in the health industry. You know, when you really think about the health industry, all the fights that's going on in Congress, okay, over health insurance plans, the Obama plan, what should be cut out, Medicare, Medicaid. You know, America puts more emphasis every year on trying to come up with the most effective health plan. When really, when you think about it, is it really about the best health plan or really about what's the best plan to assure health? I'm going to give you some interesting figures, and I just want you to think about this for a minute. We in America pay per individual more for health insurance than any other country in the world. Now, there would be some consolation in that if we can say because of that, we're number one as far as health is concerned. Wrong. Well, Rodney, please tell me that we're number 2. I mean, I get that. Maybe, we might not be number 1, but if I'm paying more for health insurance than any other person in the world for health insurance, please don't tell me that I'm not, or this country is not at least number 2. Wrong. We're not even number 10. We're not even number 15. We're not even number 20. Are you starting to get a little mad? We're not even number 25. In fact, I'll sum it up. We're, the last time I checked, number 34 in the world as far as health is concerned. Now, I know you didn't hear me, so I'm going to repeat that again. We pay more individually for health insurance than any other persons in any other country in the world, and yet 34 is the best that we can get. We have the highest price, we just don't have the best. So paying more doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the best. That's the reason why the wellness industry is the next trillion-dollar industry, because people are taking responsibility for their health. They're no longer leaving it in the hands of a doctor. Now, let's see how we get compensated. And again, I'm going to try to make this as least confusing as possible, because remember, you heard me say earlier, I don't really like multi-level marketing. So when I looked at Nature's Sunshine's compensation plan, I said, guys, do you mind if I make it a little bit more easier for my audience to understand? I said, Rodney, it doesn't make us any difference as long as, quote unquote, when they start, they understand what the overall objective is and how they're going to be compensated. I said, great, guys, because I think I can make it much more easier for them to be able to understand without really getting into a whole lot of levels and what it is that they have to do and what their people have to do and what have you, which you normally see in most multi-level marketing companies. I like to just concentrate on, if I do this, what do I get? That has always been simple for me. I like to go to the mountaintop first and see what's the highest level that I can reach. And then as I come back down the mountain, then I begin to go back up the mountain again, knowing each step of the way what to anticipate. So I'll do that with you. Just bear with me and let me just go through this real slowly. At the first level, what's so interesting is you're able to understand that the first thing that you want to do is start with yourself. You can't share something. Remember, as I said earlier, that becomes a pyramid if you're going to suggest something to someone else that you don't believe in. I hope this webinar has convinced you why the nourishing and cleansing approach can help millions and millions of persons. So when you start with yourself, if you just start with the nourishing and cleansing concept, hereafter called Super Trio and Clean Start, which roughly costs us about $105, okay? At that point, you're considered what Nature's Sunshine calls a distributor. Now, I don't really get hung up on that. That's just what they say that you are. I say what you're doing is you're starting with yourself. You're taking the nourishing and cleansing concept for yourself. Well, one of the benefits you'd get if you do that is you'd get 10% off that $105. Now, not really anything to write home about. That's only about $10.50. But that's okay. Okay. My dad used to always say, why pay retail when you can buy wholesale? And that's what you're actually doing. You're buying the nourishing and cleansing concept at wholesale price. Well, $10.50 is nothing to write home about, but I don't think you'll leave that on the table. I don't think you'll say, you guys keep that $10.50. I really don't need it. Okay? That could be pocket change that you can give to your grandkids when they say, Papa or, Granny, can I have some money? Now, if you believe that the wellness concept, nourishing and cleansing help you, then if you never want to pay for the products again, now hear me closely when I say this. When I paid for my first order with Nature's Sunshine 20 years ago, I have never paid for another order, and I take the supplements every single month. I found a way in which I never had to pay for the products again. Now, I'm going to share it with you. If you just share the nourishing and cleansing concept, or super trio and clean start, with just 9 other persons. Now, those 9 other persons could be your significant others in your family, or that could be primarily your relatives, or that could be your neighbors, or that could be members in your church. It doesn't make any difference. You just share it with 9 other persons. You believe it, and now you're going to share it with 9 other persons, okay? The company considers you at that point what is called a manager. But again, you don't really want to get all hung up on that aspect. What you want to look at is, what does that mean for you compensation-wise? What it means for you that as a manager, you get 27% commission, or if we're going to put a dollar figure to it, that's $270. Now, what does that mean for you? Remember, your products only cost $105 every month, right? So if you subtract $105 from $270, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to be able to see that you roughly have another $165 that you can either spend on your significant other or others that within your family, or simply just take that check and spend it any way that you want. So what have we done at this point? You believe it, you share it with others, so now you don't have to pay for it anymore. Now let's talk about compensation, because $270, even that's not anything to write home about, but it's nice to know that it's not costing you anything at that point. So the third factor that's involved in this concept, where you're still having to work for this now, okay, is as a manager, you set as a goal to share the nourishing and cleansing program with not just 9 other persons, but how about this time 100 other persons? Now, let's not get bogged down with the number 100. Let's break it down into increments. Let's just say every month you shared it with still no more than 9 or 10 persons, and you did that for the rest of the year. This time next year, you would have shared it with 100 persons. And once again, though that doesn't really mean anything to you, managers, distributors, this does. You would receive at that point $3,000 a month. Do I have your undivided attention now? Because a lot of persons are not going to even get that kind of money from Social Security if they haven't set up any kind of retirement, or they don't have any kind of 401k or any kind of pension from a particular company that they're working for. Can you imagine that? $3,000 a month now, your retirement that you can spend right now, and then still have your retirement waiting for you when you retire. But it even gets better than that, guys. Even gets better than that. Remember, we're not at the mountaintop yet, and I said I went all the way to the mountaintop first in order to see how good can it get. Well, at the next level, okay, because of sharing, you not only have shared, but now you teach your people to share it with others. Here's where you're making money while you sleep, because that's as hard as you will ever work. You've only shared it with those 100 persons. That's as far as Mr. You or Mrs. You will ever have to work anymore under this concept. All you have to do is teach your people who you've shared it with to share it with other persons themselves. If you do that, you're considered what's called by Nature's Sunshine a senior divisional manager. Now, let's not get hung up on the title, okay? Let's see what it is that you've done. You've convinced 100 distributors to share the nourishing and cleansing concept, Super Trio and Clean Start, with 9 other persons like you did when you started out. See, you're not doing anything any different. You believed it. You shared it with 9 persons. Now you get those 9 persons to share it with 9 other persons. You shared it with 100 persons. Now you get those 100 persons to share it with 9 other persons. See how easy it is? That's the reason why we call it sharing your belief, okay? What would you receive from everybody sharing it? Well, remember, you've got those 100 distributors who you shared it with, okay? That means $12,000 for you because they're now sharing it with other persons. And you receive a 4% commission because they are sharing it with someone. So that's a total of $16,000 that you now have coming in, and everybody's doing nothing more but sharing what it is that they believe. A $550 car allowance. Remember, you heard me say earlier that Rodney Barnett will never have another car payment. Still don't plan to under this concept. Somebody else is paying that car note for me. $550, I can think of a lot of cars that I can drive at that price. But remember, I'm still not at the mountaintop, okay? I still want my car allowance to even be higher than that. So let's go to the final level. This is where I have arrived at the mountaintop, okay? You're considered a senior national manager. Let's not get hung up on the title, though. Remember, let's not get hung up on the title. Let's just see what I have to do. If I retain those 100 persons who I got to share 9 other persons with the concept of nourishing and cleansing, and then those persons shared it all the way down to what's called the 6th level, meaning I shared it, person under me shared it, person under them shared it, going all the way down from the 2nd through the 6th level. Not very difficult to do, because remember, you set the motion in play by letting them know how to do it. Here's the mountaintop now. You'll receive 12% from first level, 4%, 2%, finally 1% on everybody else between the 2nd and 5th level. That's $21,000 a month. Now you do the math. Multiply that by 12, and you'll see that's $250,000 that you can generate for yourself now, as well as what you would have waiting for you when you retire. And how you're making it? While you're sleeping. Now, the $850 car allowance now gets into just about any kind of luxury car that you can think in terms of. I'll explain later on what all of the particulars are, such as, the car can't be more than 5 years old, so they want you to always be driving a new car. As long as the car is not over 5 years old, you can go every year and trade the car, and as long as you have that type of lease that's built in like that. The main thing is you have the $850 coming in order to be able to pay it. And 2 international trips. Stop and think about that. Most people have to save for a vacation. You're not even saving for that. You got $21,000 coming in now and for your retirement. You'll never have another car payment. Plus, you automatically have 2 international trips. Airfare paid for, cruise line paid for, or however the method is that's chosen by Nature's Sunshine for that year, and there are 2 exotic places. We're not talking about going from here to New York. We're talking about exotic places around the world. All expenses paid by Nature's Sunshine. Well, what does that translate to? I remember having a person who said, before I even explained this to them, the first thing that she wanted to let me know is she wanted her own private label. She said, that's always been my dream, is that I can have a scientist design and manufacture my own label of nutritional supplements, Well, the first thing I tried to do is help her to appreciate all of the liabilities that went along with that, if she indeed tried to go down that particular road. But I summed it up and drove the point home by helping her to be able to appreciate some of the richest persons in the world, such as Ross Perot, made $3.5 billion from EDS, and he never wrote a line of software or made any hardware. He distributed to EDS other people's software and other people's hardware. Sam Walton, who became the richest man in the world in 1990, never made a Walmart brand of toothpaste or any other product. He distributed other people's product and services efficiently. So what's the best way to do it? To manufacture it, which now you got to have a plant in order to house it. You got insurances. that you have to take out. You have liability that's involved. You have shipping, that's involved. You got all this paperwork. And yet these two richest men in the world realized that, never concerned themselves with manufacturing anything, but still became billionaires acting as a distributor. Warren Buffett said it best. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. What a sobering thought. So I'll repeat it again. Mr. Buffett says, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. I found two photographs that drive the point home. Webinar attendees, let this not be you, that because you didn't plan for your retirement, this becomes your fate. These two persons have to work until they die because they fail to make money while they were sleeping. So remember I said I've been to the mountaintop? Do you see me at the mountaintop? I've already programmed myself to be a senior national manager with a downline of 500 active managers working in my behalf while I'm sleeping. That's equivalent, as I made mention, to $21,000 a month, not only now, but also when I'm finally ready to retire, when my health will no longer dictate that I'm able to either conduct these webinars or work in the behalf of sharing my belief with others. Where do you see yourself? At the first level of $3,000 a month? At the second level of $12,000 a month? Or on top of the mountaintop with me? $21,000 a month. I calculated how much money I would have to have invested, remember money at work, at 5% interest to net the same amount of $21,000 a month, and I was startled to realize I'd have to have $5 million just to gross the same amount of money. Nature's sunshine has done it already for me. I just have to follow the formula. Yes, in closing, remember, beautiful hair begins with healthy hair. And healthy hair begins by treating hair loss from the inside out. If you previously were a distributor with Nature's Sunshine, then all I have to say is welcome back. Welcome back. Because though I never understood the compensation plan as well as I did today, I'm now in a position to be able to say, let's get started again by calling Nature's Sunshine at 800-223-8225 and tell them that you'd like to sign up again as a member with me as your sponsor, because I'm the one who's going to continuously bring you these webinars, and I'm the one who's going to be checking on your progress. If you purchased a Compass scanner before and you're not using it on a monthly basis, call Zyto tomorrow and renew your monthly subscription with them by calling the number 888-216-4532, or call me if you've never ordered a Compass before. We can make sure it gets sent to you immediately. For those who just want to get started by using the Health Analyzer, that's okay. I used it for a couple of decades before the Compass was ever even introduced. It's an effective tool for determining the weak body systems and ordering that system pack along with the Cleanse and Super Trio. Well, in closing, all I can say is welcome, welcome, welcome. Whether you're being welcomed back as a healthcare practitioner, or if you're starting as a healthcare practitioner starting as soon as today. Remember, take responsibility for your health. The wellness business is a trillion-dollar business, and again, what's driving that? The need for people to take better responsibility and better care of their own health and not leaving it in the care of others.